Welcome back to another Farming Smarter plot shot, everyone. Right now we're out at our rolling cereals trial, which is brought to you by Farming Smarter and through a grant with RDAR and also some funding from the Wheat and Barley Commission. And right now we're at our Lethbridge location. This trial we have 3 locations and it's a 3-year study. We have 2 locations in Lethbridge right now and 1 location in Bow Island. And next year we're going to switch up those locations a little bit. We'll still have Lethbridge, probably Bow Island, and then maybe Brooks or Enchant. And with this study, this is a continuation, a larger study, following the study that we did with George Loverts on the rolling barley. And we just adapted things and made this trial a little bit bigger and more robust. So we have wheat included and we have barley. So we have Sadash wheat and Austinson barley, some of the more popular silage varieties for those crops. And we changed up our treatments a little bit, our rolling timing. So we have an untreated check that doesn't get rolled, and we have right after seeding. Then we have at the coleoptile stage where that seed is just germinating in the soil but it hasn't emerged yet. Then we have the 2 to 3 leaf. We have 3 to 5 tiller, the 2 node, and those are our treatments. And then we also have no-till and conventional till blocks. And yeah, so with that we were just curious, if we're fluffing the soil, tilling the soil, does that have an impact on how much compaction or harm we're doing to the plants? Does it change it up much? And with our rolling timings, we adapted our timings based on the previous studies that we did with George, and some of the damage and effects we were seeing there. And yeah, so far it's been a good study. Some of the data collection that we're going to be doing are final heights on the crop. We've done a plant count to see if we have any issues with our population. We did that early on in the crop stage, right around like the tillering stage. And we might do another plant count, especially on the 2 node stage, because we were seeing some plant reduction in the previous studies. We're going to take yield and yield or seed quality and I think silage quality as well. And just other notes as we go along too. So far what we're seeing are similar results as we've seen in the past. The early rolling timing, so rolling before emergence or right after seeding, and even when that coleoptile is growing in the soil, doesn't seem to hurt the crop at all, not visually or with the plant counts. And then into the tiller stage as well, we're not really seeing much damage. It doesn't really look like it on the wheat anyways. The barley might have been a little more susceptible to some damage. You can tell that the barley was harmed a little more. So it's kind of the same story as our previous studies, pushing that rolling timing into the tillering and close to when that plant is going into the reproductive stage and its stem is elongating, could lead to some damage. And then we're seeing into the node stage. That is where we get the most damage. The crop seems to lay down a little longer and be a little stunted. And an interesting effect that I'm just seeing is that the wheat seems to spring back a little more robust than the barley does. And as we look just in the field here, we can see I can't really pick out the treatments visually as well as I can with the barley. So that's telling me the wheat is actually a little less susceptible to damage than the barley. But right now that's just kind of what I'm seeing, and we'll have to see what happens with the yield and the height and the other data collection that we do. But I think that's one interesting thing. That's exactly why we added the wheat in this study, because we weren't sure how it would differ from the barley or if it would differ at all. So yeah, I think that's all we have for now. We're going to have other events and talks about this study as we go in the future here, and hopefully we can even keep this going. I know at our field school we had a lot of questions, and as we do research we come up with more questions and things we need to test. So this could turn into a more longer term study and hopefully help farmers get better silage yield with their crops. So stay tuned for the future when we do our final reports and our other talks. And you can also check out our field school video that and my presentation that I did at our field school. So thanks everyone, and stay tuned.